The upcoming remastered version of Skyrim is probably one of the most anticipated RPG games of the year. However, if you're already ventured to the land of Skyrim, you might not want to buy the game a second time. If that's the case, here's our list of the top 10 upcoming RPGs that in our opinion look quite promising. Please enjoy! Sure, we can play as the bad guy in Dragon Age or Mass Effect, but we still end up saving the day and making everyone happy. What if our character was completely evil and the bad guys have already won? The upcoming Tyranny tries to answer that question. What caught our attention is the fact that there won't be any typical good choices in this old-school RPG. We play as a general of an evil army that has already conquered the world, and we decide how evil or diabolical we are. What is more, the game will be shorter than any other RPG as to encourage multiple playthroughs and see how the meaningful choices play out. The first Divinity Original Sin was something of a smash hit. Nobody expected the game to be more than okay, but in the end, it topped Dragon Age Inquisition in many Game of the Year rankings. The next Divinity is already playable in early access, and from what we've seen, it can be even better than the first game. Some of us personally hope the sequel will improve in the story and lore departments, as those were the only ones that proved lacking in the previous title. Apart from that, the game will also expand upon co-op play and even implement something called competitive questing, where our friends will play against us. The 2017 launch is still far away, but if you like the original Sin, no pun intended, be sure to try out the early access version. Final Fantasy XV has been in production for more than 10 years now, and some of us have even lost hope at this point, seeing that the game was pushed back once again from a September to a late November launch. Luckily, we got more than one demo, a chance to play at some game events, and it seems that the legendary series might return to its former glory. First of all, the game will offer vast open locations, a more dynamic battle system inspired by the one from Kingdom Hearts, and a much more intimate story. Prince Noctis and his merry band might seem off-putting at first, but the concept of a personal story of a ruler-to-be and his closest male friends certainly has a lot of potential for some nice character development and moments of touching camaraderie. Too bad there aren't many female characters we might call our future waifus, but if we don't get any Lightnings and Vanilles in the upcoming game, that just might be one of the best casts of a Final Fantasy game in recent memory. Persona 5 already came out in Japan and the audiences loved it. Atlus' latest teenager simulator seems to build upon everything the series is known for. A good balance between daily life sim elements and dungeon crawling, a great cast with chemistry, and an intriguing story about friendship and finding your true self. What's more, the game will feature even more side activities and a more vibrant setting. After all, it's not the countryside from Persona 4 we're talking about, but one of the liveliest districts of Tokyo where the game takes place. To be exact, Shibuya. The game is also supposed to offer much more diverse exploration than in the previous titles, and a new element in form of heist we prepare for every once in a while. So, will we see a planning, time-managing minigame? Perhaps. Western fans of Persona 3 and 4 are certainly hyped. It'll be hard to live up to all those expectations, but we keep our fingers crossed nevertheless. Those that don't have a date for the next Valentine's Day are certainly lucky. When it comes to the next Mass Effect game, we're both hyped and stressed at the same time. We're excited because the game will focus more on exploration, will feature yet unseen races and planets, and will also feature a new cast, not tied to the crew of the Normandy. On the other hand though, the game might go in the direction of Dragon Age Inquisition, with boring and repetitive gameplay and locations that, while beautiful, are filled with fetch quests and meaningless collectibles. And we don't want to see our beloved space franchise go that way, do we? The Andromeda demo shown at the PlayStation 4 Pro reveal, while short and enigmatic, looked great, and if the game takes advantage of the new systems, it might be one of the prettiest versions of space ever. In addition, we're also pretty excited about the new crew that will probably include new races, and we really want to romance that tomboyish Asari with war paint.
I thought Civil War wasn't supposed to happen until Phase 3. Shut up, Super Craig!
The Fractured But Whole, the sequel to The Splendid Stick of Truth, got delayed to March, but that doesn't concern us one bit. The first South Park RPG was probably the best licensed game we ever played, and a hilarious parody of RPG cliches at that. This time around, the comedic geniuses of Trey Parker and Matt Stone make fun of superheroes and blockbuster movie franchises in the direct adaptation of The Story of the New Kid, known from the previous game, of course. The new position-based battle system, like those in tactical RPGs, seems fun at first, but remains to be seen if the core RPG mechanics will be polished enough. There's also a reason to be alarmed, as the game is not being developed by Obsidian, but by Ubisoft San Francisco. The new South Park RPG might end up a victim of its own success, but even if it's not as good as the predecessor, it will still make us laugh and spend some quality time with our favorite characters. Planescape Torment is a cult classic and one of the most beloved old-school RPGs out there. Some might even argue that it's the best RPG ever made in that era, and their claims are understandable. Someone who would want to mess with that legend would certainly have to be crazy. Or be named Brian Fargo. The famous developer came back in style with Wasteland 2, and with the recently announced Wasteland 3, we hope he hasn't lost his mojo. The new Torment game looks good, surreal, and grim at the same time. Even if the game doesn't live up to the legend that was the story of the undying hero, we still have a unique old-school RPG on our hands to look out for. And that's cool, I guess. We recently made a video about Alex, so I'll keep it short. Alex is an open-world RPG made by a team of 27 people that will be set in a fantasy sci-fi post-apocalyptic world. Sounds like an over-ambitious disaster yet? Well, not quite. One must take into account that the game is being made by the creators of the cult classic Gothic series that, despite some of its faults, is adored for characters and story by its loyal fans. Even if the game ends up being mediocre, it's still worth a shot, as thanks to its indie-like atmosphere in the studio, the developer Piranha Bytes can make much riskier decisions than any other RPG studio. Alex might be either a surprise hit or an ambitious mess with some great ideas hidden within. No matter which of those scenarios will play out, we're still excited for the game. Kingdom Come Deliverance is a game some of us backed on Kickstarter some time ago, and we're eagerly awaiting what will become of this original concept. The game takes us to medieval areas of the now Czech Republic and Poland, and will offer a medieval RPG without any dragons and fantasy elements. The game will also have a complex story with political intrigues and war, and will focus greatly on sword fighting. And if that wasn't enough, it also runs on CryEngine, and while some animations still look far from perfect, it can look and play exceptionally once it's polished and perfected. At least that's what we hope. The Witcher 3 was revolutionary in a way that it paved a way for Slavic themes in RPGs, and Kingdom Come seems to take advantage of that. We just can't wait to see what a Western European medieval RPG might look like. And speaking of Slavic themes in Poland, our last game on this list comes from The Witcher's homeland and is being developed by rising stars in the Polish game dev, Imagine Pro and False Theory. 7, The Days Long Gone is an isometric RPG with parkour elements and a darker post-apo story. The game's hero, whose body is a host to a certain demon, just so happens to be a master thief sent to a prison island. Darker tone and the whole fantasy prison break vibe reminds us of the aforementioned Gothic trilogy, and we got hooked since the first announcement. Okay guys, that's our list. Those are not all of the RPGs that are coming out in the next months, so if we missed your favorite, please let us know in the comment section below. And if you're at it, you can leave a like or a subscribe, because they'll help us make better videos and know what you guys want. As always, keep it here at GamePressure.com. Thanks for watching, and I'm Jordan. See you around.